What was the biggest realization or observation from doing this? Was it tougher than you thought it was? More doable? You know, where were you at 10 days? Where were you at 20 days? And where were you at 30 days?
So there were moments in it. There was day 4 was an interesting one. I was expecting it to happen, but maybe not so soon. Was the moment, the realization when you wake up and go, oh, that's what we're doing today. Like, everything was just perfect. It was like there was nothing to it. It was like, oh my God, this is great. And I felt like I'd become the process. So I have this saying, which is trust the process, respect the process, be patient whilst in the process. And when you finally figure out that it's all process, just be, right? That's all we need to do, right?
Yeah.
And it all came together. So what I did, I then grabbed my phone and I shoved that out into the world on Instagram stories, right? So what did I do? I stopped being the process, right?
Okay.
And I'd immediately gone from being in divinity of like, I'm the process, actually feeling it and just going, right, I'm now become the run, to dictator, right? That was the moment for me. It's like, yeah, look at me, everyone. I've suddenly become the process.
Right.
And there's only one way to go from that, and that's the victim. So a thorn entered my heel, like within minutes of that exposure. And it went right in the medial part of my heel, which then it was so painful, I couldn't get it out. So it meant I started to load the outside of my foot. And when you understand the behavior of the foot, and we know that the big toe is 4 times denser and thicker than all the other toes, which is the smallest, the little toe, and I'm loading the outside of my foot. So 120 miles later, my foot starts to balloon on my left side. It starts to look quite inflamed. And I'm like, this is a moment. So this is like, we're at day 8 now. And my right side, it had overcompensated for the left side. So the pad got really thin. And it almost got to the point where I felt like I couldn't put my feet on the floor. It was too tender. And this realization of, oh shit, this could be over right now. We're only on day 8. Never planned it. There's no way I thought this would happen, because my physicality was strong, my technique was down. I'd just become the process, right? All this stuff was lined up.
And what's going through your mind? I mean,
adversity. It was like the true level of adversity. Everything, my whole philosophy and everything I talked about was now on the line. Right?
So is the ego in play here?
The ego's in play the moment I've gone from being in divinity, being the process, to being the dictator.
But is the ego in play a little bit when you say, I'm going to go do this in 30 days? I mean, at some point you have to now do what you say, and people are going to potentially judge you and all your work on that.
Yeah.
So that's also being a little out of the process.
Well, it is a little bit out of the process, but there was an honest belief system within it. You know? It was a belief of...
But it does raise the stakes.
I can do this. There's a belief that I had so much... I would have put, I put money on it. There's so much within me that said, I am this process. This is what I'm going to be doing. And I just never in my wildest dreams thought that in all the barefoot running I've done, I've never had like a thorn like that in my heel. It was just that, it was perfectly timed. It was everything it needed to be.
Okay.
And I arrived back home and my kids are there, and it's the first time Millie saw me crying. I had a proper sob. I was like, oh my God, this is like, and it was like the end of me at that moment, when you go into that real dark, and I call it the pain cave. And I went into the pain cave, and I always said like, there's a grizzly bear at the back of the pain cave, and the grizzly bear's really wise, and you sit down with them and you get the most profound lessons in adversity. People are so fearful of it, but it's the place to go, because you learn so much about yourself. Or what I discovered is just process. Again, it's just about, I have to get back into being the process. So in this particular moment in time, the pain cave was my process. And then my daughter Lola got me out of it, and she said, you're not going to quit, are you, Papa? And it was enough to go, okay. Well, she came in the cave and she just took my hand, she pulled me out.
Did the grizzly bear say anything to you?
I was just cool with that.
Okay.
It just brought me out into the light, Okay. The dialogue I had with the grizzly bear was, the grizzly bear said, you're far more powerful than I am. You have a choice. You can go in and out the cave. I'm stuck back here, So it's basically, we have all the tools we need. So I then went into the stuff I know, which is the breath work, the meditation, and was to get my mind into the process of what was healing, rather than, oh no, what if I can't do this?
Okay.
So it's a change. It was just the flipping of the switch
Okay.
of understanding what it is I needed to do. So that was all in the first week.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So you pushed through that and got back to a normal gait?
Yeah, I did. We took, I think, 2 days out for that.
Okay.
And then I had to make up the mileage. So we then started to do extra mileage each day. So I then went back on, I was back out on the road after that. Second week again, I started to feel amazing. What I started to see was the process and the path. And I understood procrastination and time. So we would get up in the morning, and we were always living in a location for 4 days. So Katerina and the girls wouldn't have to keep moving every single day. We would be 60 miles each side of a location. But because of this 2-day blip, it meant that we had to really work to get back to start to build the mileage in again, to get closer to what was the accommodation. And we'd leave super early, but some mornings like 5:30 in the morning, we get to the start point and I would start procrastinating. I'd be sitting there, I'm like, I'm gonna have a tea, any food, have a bit of food. And James is looking at the watch and he's getting frustrated and he's like, come on, Tony, we left this side. I said, look, I'll go when I'm ready, man, I'll go when I'm ready. And then I'd get my feet out and I'd put them out and then I'd stand up. And this one particular day, it all came together. I walked across the road and there was a farm across the road. James had driven off. I'd spent probably an hour going through this, what I thought was just procrastination. And then the farmer's suddenly there waiting for me. And he's like, oh, what are you doing? So I start to explain. We spent half an hour talking again. And I have no concern with time at this point. He said, whatever, I'll do the 30 miles whenever. And he said, where are you heading? And I said, oh, here's my coordinates, here's the next 10 miles. I don't really know, to be honest with you, I just get sent these 10-mile coordinates and that's where I'm running to each stage. Oh, there's an amazing Tibetan monastery up the road here. Have a look at it, it's 9 miles up. Now, had I not procrastinated, that farmer would not be there. I wouldn't have gone to the Tibetan monastery. And then day by day, I was seeing things like that because, again, I started to go into what was the process of the event rather than domesticating myself into time, right? I need to be here at this particular time. I need to leave at this time. And the more I let go of that and surrendered to the process, the more things I got to see, the more people that were available, and the more people were available when I needed them to be there. And the conversations were available when they needed to be there.
So is that a metaphor for life? So you have a process, you have a goal, but you didn't want to be too rigid in the accomplishment of that goal.
Yeah, because we're so governed by time, right? And I think because we have these restraints of time,
and you had constraints as well. You had 30 days.
How much are we missing?
Right. But you still had 30 days.
Still have 30 days.
But within that, allowing yourself to have less structure.
Exactly.